Hey guys, welcome to SK Educational Studies. Let us read Chapter 2 The Sound of Music. Part 1 Evelyn Glennie listens to sound without hearing it. And this is written by Deborah Cowley. So let's read the synopsis first. God may have taken her hearing, but He has given her back something extraordinary. What we hear, she feels far more deeply than any one of us. That is why she expresses music so beautifully. So, here is the story of a girl who has lost her hearing power, but she has received something extraordinary from the God, means which we can hear, she can feel it. Even she can feel far more than any normal human being. And that's the reason she expresses music so beautifully, so melodiously. Read the following account of a person who fought against a physical disability and made her life a success story. So, this is the story of a physical challenged person, or we can say that a girl who has lost her hearing power but still became very successful in her life. And there are many stories in which we must have heard that how many of those who were physically challenged but have become very successful, like Stephen Hawking, Helen Keller, etc. Let us now come to paragraph 1. Rush hour crowds jostle for position on the underground train platform. A slight girl looking younger than her 17 years was nervous yet excited as she felt the vibrations of the approaching train. Rush hour means very busy hour and full of crowds. They are trying to jostle, means they are trying to push violently, roughly to make position in the underground train platform in order to catch the train. A slight girl means a small and thin girl looking younger than her 17 years. Actually, she is 17 years old, but she is so small and thin that she is not looking like, even though she is 17 years. Was nervous yet excited as she felt the vibrations of the approaching train. She was nervous, at the same time she was excited, and as she could not hear, she could only feel the vibrations, and through the vibrations she could sense the approaching train, means the coming train. Approaching means coming. It was a fast day at the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London, and daunting enough for any teenager phrase from a Scottish farm. So where was she going and why was she there at the platform? Because he was going to attend her music class at the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London, and that was her first day. So obviously she was daunted enough, means she was scared enough, frightened enough as a phrase teenager belonged to a Scottish farm. Scottish farm means the rural areas of Scotland. But this aspiring musician faced a bigger challenge than most. She was profoundly deaf. Aspiring musician means she hopes to be a musician, she wanted to be a musician, but before her there is a bigger challenge than any other person, any other normal human being. It is because she was profoundly deaf, means she was completely deaf. Deaf means someone who cannot hear. Paragraph 2. Evelyn Glennie's loss of hearing had been gradual. Gradual means slow, which means she was not what is it? Deaf. She was not deaf from her birth. It was slowly she became lost her hearing power. Her mother remembers noticing something was wrong when the 8-year-old Evelyn was waiting to play the piano. They called her name and she didn't move. I suddenly realized she hadn't heard, says Isabel Glennie. Isabel Glennie was Evelyn's mother. She was the one who first noticed Evelyn's loss of hearing. How? When she was 8 year old, means when Evelyn was 8 year old, they means actually her parents called her by her name, but she didn't move. She was actually there to waiting for her turn to play the piano, and by that time when they called her by her name, she did not give any response. And it was that time her mother realized that she was deaf. For quite a while, Evelyn managed to conceal her growing deafness from her friends and teachers. So, for some time, she somehow managed to conceal, means she managed to hide her deafness, increasing deafness from her friends and teachers. But by the time she was 11, her marks had deteriorated, and her headmistress urged her parents to take her to a specialist. However, when she was 11 years old, her marks deteriorated, means decreased, reduced, and it was her headmistress who urged her parents, means who suggested her parents that to go to a specialist. Specialist is someone who is well experienced in a particular field, here the field of hearing. So, for 3 years, we can say she somehow managed to hide her deafness. It was then discovered that her hearing was severely impaired as a result of gradual nerve damage. Impaired means weakened. So, when they went to the specialist, it was discovered that her hearing was severely damaged, weakened because of gradual nerve damage. Means one of her nerves has damaged and that has affected her hearing power. They were advised that she should be fitted with hearing aids and sent to a school for the deaf. So, the specialist advised Evelyn's parents that Evelyn should be fitted with hearing aids, means hearing machines, and should be sent to a school of the deaf, school for the deaf rather than to a normal school. Everything suddenly looked black, says Evelyn. So, when Evelyn got to know about this, she thought for a moment that everything became completely blank. Here, black means blank, dark. But Evelyn was not going to give up. She was determined to lead a normal life and pursue her interest in music. Anyhow, she did not give up. She decided to lead her normal life and pursue, means continue her interest in music. She had interest in music. One day she noticed a girl playing a xylophone and decided that she wanted to play it too. So one day she saw a girl playing a xylophone. Xylophone means a musical instrument with a row of wooden bars of different lengths. Here the picture is given, you can see. And thereon she decided that she would also play the xylophone too. Most of the teachers discouraged her, but percussionist Ron Forbes spotted her potential. Most of the teachers did not give her any encouragement, but it was percussionist, means a person who plays the tabla, means we can say a drummer or a tablaist, a multi-talented person in music. Who was he? He was Ron Forbes, who spotted her potential, means who identified the ability, the potential in Evelyn. He began by tuning two large drums, two different notes. Don't listen through ears, he would say. Try to sense it some other way. So, how did he start or provide her training? He first played, or we can say, bet or tuned two large drums into two different notes, means into two different musical notes. And then he advised her not to listen through her ears. He told her to sense it, means to feel it in some other way. Says Evelyn, suddenly I realized I could feel the higher drum from the west off and the lower one from the west up. So when she tried to feel it, when she tried to sense it, she realized that she could feel the higher drum, means the high pitched sound from the west up, means from the upper part of the west, and the lower one, means the low pitched sound from the west down from the west. Forbes repeated the exercise, and soon Evelyn discovered that she could sense certain notes in different parts of her body. So, as Ron Forbes, who went on repeating this exercise, Evelyn felt that she could sense certain musical notes in different parts of her body. I had learned to open my mind and body to sounds and vibrations. The rest was sheer determination and hard work. So, how was it possible? Actually, she had said it here that she opened her mind and body, means she devoted her mind and body to sounds and vibrations. When she concentrated and listened, and feel the vibrations, and raised was sheer determination. Sheer here means complete, when she was completely determined, and she was very hard work as well, and that's why she got the success. Paragraph 4. She never looked back from that point onwards. She toured the United Kingdom with a youth orchestra, and by the time she was 16, she had decided to make music her life. So she first toured, means she visited United Kingdom with a youth orchestra, means a young orchestra group. And by the time she was 16, she decided that she would make her career in music. She auditioned for the Royal Academy of Music and scored one of the highest marks in the history of the academy. And for that reason, she auditioned, means she gave her performance at the Royal Academy of Music, and there she scored one of the highest marks in the history of music or music academy, or we can say Royal Academy. She gradually moved from orchestral work to solo performances. Actually, it was because of that reason when she was selected. We can see in the beginning she was waiting at the platform in order to catch the train so that to go to Royal Academy of Music to start her first day of musical career. She gradually moved from orchestral work to solo performances. So, by doing this, she moved from orchestral work to solo performances. Means she went on giving individual performances. At the end of her 3-year course, she had captured most of the top hours. So, at the Royal Academy of Music, she took up a 3-year course in music, and at the end of her 3-year course, she had managed to win the top awards. Next paragraph. And for all this, Evelyn would accept any hint of heroic achievement. Heroic achievement means she still believes that she has long way to go. She has to achieve more. She never boasts of or feels very proud of her achievement. She didn't consider it such a heroic, means such a great achievement. If you work hard and know where you are going, you will get there. So what she has said, she believes in hard work, determination, and concentration on your aim in order to get success. That's what she has said. And she got right to the top, the world's most sought after. Sought after means most demanding or most famous multi percussionist with a mastery of some 1,000 instruments and hectic international schedule. Hectic means busy. She could play 1,000 musical instruments, and she is the world's most demanding multi percussionist. And she has a very hectic international schedule, means very busy international schedule. She tours different parts of the world. Next paragraph. It is intriguing to watch Evelyn function so effortlessly without hearing. Means it's really fascinating, surprise and attracting how she managed to perform so effortlessly. In our 2-hour discussion, she never missed a word. Men with bushy beards give me trouble, she laughed. So, the writer has a 2-hour discussion with Evelyn, in which Evelyn says that men with bushy beards give her trouble. In what sense? Let's try to find out. It is not just watching the lips, it's the whole face, especially the eyes. Obviously, as she could not hear, she has to read the lips of the people in order to understand. But she finds it difficult to read the lips of the men with bushy beards. So then, how she managed to understand? How she managed to understand their words? It is through their eyes. She looks very concentratingly, means very constantly at the eyes of those men with bushy beards. She speaks flawlessly with a Scottish lilt, means Scottish lilt, we can say Scottish language. She speaks flawlessly means without any mistake. She could speak Scottish language. My speech is clear because I could hear till I was 11, she says. Obviously, up to 11 years old, she could speak Scottish language, and that's the reason she speaks flawlessly in Scottish language. But that doesn't explain how she managed to learn French and master basic Japanese. But anyone would definitely be surprised because after 11 years old, she lost her hearing power. She became deaf. Then, how she managed to learn French and Japanese is really a matter of surprise. As for music, she explains, it pours in through every part of my body. It tingles in the skin, my cheekbones, and even in my head. Which means she feels the music in every part of her body. Like she has said it tingles in the skin, means it produces a kind of sensation or pricks in her skin, in her cheekbones, in all parts of her body. When she plays the xylophone, she can sense the sound passing of the stick into her fingertips. How she managed to sense the sound of the xylophone. Actually, when she plays the xylophone, the sound passes to her fingertips through the stick that she plays, the xylophone. By leaning against the drum, she can feel the resonances flowing into her body. Resonances mean the echoing sound, echoes of sounds, or we can say the sounds that return, or vibrations. Then how she catches or how she feels the sound produced by the drums. So when the drum is beaten up, she leaned against the drum, and the resonances let her feel into her all parts of body. When she could feel the echoing sounds, the vibrations of the drums through all parts of her body. On a wooden platform, she removes her shoes so that the vibrations pass through her bare feet and up her legs. If she goes to perform on a wooden platform, she removes her shoes. Why? So that she could feel the vibrations passing through her bare feet and through her legs. Next paragraph 8. Not surprisingly, Evelyn delights her audiences. Means her audiences really love her music. In 1991, she was presented with the Royal Philharmonic Society's prestigious Soloist of the Year Award, Individual Performer of the Year Award in Music. She was presented with this award by the Royal Philharmonic Society in the year 1991. Says master percussionist James Blade, God may have taken her hearing, but he has given her back something extraordinary. What we hear, she feels far more deeply than any of us. That is why she expresses music so beautifully. This is what that we have read in the beginning in the synopsis. This has been said by another famous or master percussionist, James Blades. He has said it that God has taken her hearing power, but has given her back something which is more extraordinary than hearing power. Which means what we can hear, she can feel it. Even she feels it more deeply than any of the normal human being. And that's the reason she expresses music so beautifully, so melodiously. Next, paragraph 9. Evelyn confesses that she is something of a workaholic. Confesses means accepts that she is a workaholic, means she likes to do the work. I have just got to work, often harder than classical musicians, but the rewards are enormous. Enormous means here it means that she has received a lot of rewards. She works really very hard and she believes in hard work as well. Apart from the regular concerts, Evelyn also gives free concerts in prisons and hospitals. So she not only performs at regular concerts, she also gives free concerts, means concerts in free, where in prisons and hospitals. She also gives high priority to classes for young musicians. Priority means importance. She gives great importance to, means gives opportunity to the young musicians. And Richlin of the Beethoven Fund for Deaf Children says she is a shining inspiration for deaf children. They see that there is nowhere that they cannot go. So, Anne Richlin, probably the head of the Beethoven Fund for Deaf Children, she has said that Evelyn is a shining inspiration, means is a growing inspiration among the deaf children. Now let's come to the last paragraph, paragraph 10. Evelyn Glennie has already accomplished more than most people twice her age. Accomplished means achieved. When she has achieved what people who are twice of her age, means people who are double of her age, has not achieved. She has brought percussion to the front of orchestra and demonstrated that it can be very moving, means very fascinating, very attractive. She has brought percussion, means to the front of orchestra, means she has given the credit for making the percussion instruments famous in the orchestra, and demonstrated, means and proved that it is really very attractive, very famous. She has given inspiration to those who are handicapped, people who look to her and say, if she can do it, I can. And not the least, she has given enormous pleasure to millions. So she is really an inspiration to those who are physically disabled, or we can say handicapped. And people like disabled, they think that if Evelyn being a deaf could achieve such a great height, then why not they? So in this sense, really she is an inspiration. Not only she's an inspiration, also she gives lot of pleasure, means enormous pleasure to millions of audience. Thank you. This is what I hope you like my explanation. Please don't forget to give your suggestions and feedbacks. Thank you. Next class we shall discuss the question answers.